What's going on, guys? Welcome back to NolanTCG, and we are back here today for another deck profile, and this time it's for 6 Samurai. So, been a couple of months since I've done a 6 Samurai deck profile. Ultimately, I've kind of settled on this list for the FTK that's super consistent. Playing it at locals, I think all bar maybe one hand, I haven't opened the ability to FTK. The only thing that swings you is how many hand traps your opponent opens. There are times in this deck where I've opened the ability to play through 4, and get hit with 5, and I'm like, cool, or essentially 4 disruptions going second, and I'm like, cool, I can play through a little bit, just hopefully you don't have 2 hand traps in your hand. Does happen. This deck is essentially just, can I play through what you have, and if I have more, the game is over. I'm not going to show off the combo at the end of this video. That is more than available in previous videos that I've done on the channel, so do make sure to check that out. There are, of course, the standard combo. We'll go through the way the FTK fundamentally works, but we're not going to talk about the way that the actual combo itself is established. But yeah, before we do get started on this one, though, please do remember to drop down below and hit that subscribe button if you are new here, because we are always happy to have new people to the channel. And let's get on into this deck profile. Before we do get started on this one, though, it is brought to you, of course, by yourplaymat.com, who got us our beautiful NolanTCG Extra Deck sleeves. These are available on yourplaymat.com, as well as you can get custom sleeves and custom playmats, so whatever you need for the current format. There is an affiliate link in the description down below that does get you a little bit of a discount on your order. Also, enter the code NOLAN10YP for 10% off your order. Also kicks back a little bit to the channel, so everything will be very much appreciated. If you're shopping there, you're getting custom sleeves, custom playmats down. Make sure to enter our code at checkout. But let's get on into this deck profile. Okay, so starting us off for the main deck, we do have our 3 copies of Secret 6 Samurai Kizaru. Of course, this is your first card of your 2-card combo. The other card is, of course, our 3 copies of Legendary 6 Samurai Kageki. You are typically just going Kageki into Kizaru to establish your full combo. We've discussed this before on the channel. You resolve your Kizaru, search a whole bunch of stuff that's super good for the deck. Speaking of stuff that's super good for the deck, we have our loop cards. It is our 2 copies of Mizuho and our 2 copies of Sinai. Of course, you want to have 2 blue, 1 red, and then you just like kind of infinitely resolve the combo that then allows you to have the infinite counters to set up your board. We have our 2 copies of Hatsumi. Sorry, apologies. Only reason we're playing 2 of this is because you need to have this in deck to summon off a Soul Day. If you draw 1, you need to have another. If you draw both, guess what? The combo is going to get a whole lot more difficult for you. So yeah, 2 copies of Hatsumi, simply for that reason. Next off, we have the Extender. This is the first card we're going to search off Kizaru. It's Legendary Secret of the 6 Samurai. You're going to special summon it when your Hatsumi hits board off the Isolde. That's generally the way it works. Not a terrible card to open, because when you special summon the Kizaru off the Kageki, if you hard open this, you can just drop it on the field. Helps you play around certain hand traps. And then yeah, overall, we originally were playing just 1 of this. I do often flip between 1, 2, and 3 on the ratio for this card. In this list, originally I was playing this at 1, and rather weirdly, I was playing a red reboot in the main deck, because I was getting hit with a lot of impermanences, so that was kind of something that I figured around playing. Worked fine, but I switched back to the 2 copies of the Legendary Secret 6 Samurai, just because it lets you play around more hand traps if you have it available. Then we get into our generic Throw Them Out extension. That is 3 copies of Kizan and the 1 copy of Grandmaster. Of course, you're going to loop those Kizans to allow you to get through the FTK. Then we have our Fiery Flint Lady. Do remember, I'm fairly sure the card that you summon off this can't be impermed. So if you go like, if they open like double hand trap, you go Kageki into Kizaru. Kageki gets impermed or valid. You can summon Fiery Flint Lady, get rid of it, summon the Kizaru. Good times. And then you can, combo off from there, because that's still full combo. And then lastly, 1 copy of Amazonas Archer. You can also play Cannon Soldier, given that you just generically search any level 4 monster. But this is also searchable off Rhoda. Does help you out a little bit if you do need to go that way. Also means you don't have to have the Primary Math Mech version. Then we have our spell cards. So starting us off, our 1 copy of Gateway. Card ever comes back to 3. This deck's insane. 3 copies of Shien's Dojo, gets you that special summon from the deck, of course. And 3 copies of Smoke Signal, effectively sets up the combo. You can use it to search Kageki or your other level 3s. And then all of those cards, really good. Never search Hatsume, though. You don't want to be searching Hatsume. Then we have our equip spells for our Isolde. We play the 4, so it's 1 Divine Sword Phoenix Blade, 1 Living Fossil, 1 Durandal, of course, Extension, just kind of there. Banishing does come up quite a lot. And then the 1 copy of DDR. All of these cards have utility if you draw them, except Phoenix Blade. Having the other 3 in deck is necessary to summon the Hatsume, of course. Durandal helps you play through hand traps. Living Fossil helps you try and recover. And DDR, in certain situations, lets you play through hand traps as well. Then we have, next off, our 1 copy of Reinforcements of the Army. It's every card in the deck bar 1, so hey, we're going to play it. Then we have our 3 copies of Pot of Prosperity. It is the choice in this deck. Yes, you're doing half damage. Irrelevant, because you can just infinitely do it, so no reason to not be playing Pot of Prosperity. There's at least once where I've Prosperitied, revealed a piece of the combo, and my opponent's just scooped on the assumption that I already had the other one. And then we have, last off, 3 copies of Salesman. You're just typically using this to call whatever you think your opponent has. It is effectively a gamble, but if you have a hand that can play through Ash, guess what? You're going to switch to something else, and you're going to call something like an Effect Veiler, maybe Impermanence. Games 2 and 3, Nibiru is definitely something you want to be calling. Okay, now we have the extra deck, and it's a relatively spacious extra deck, given we are playing Prosperity, and this is the FTK build. A lot of the stuff in here isn't necessary for doing the combo. We do have our 3 copies of Battle Shogun, though, starting us off. 2 are necessary. The 3rd does help you play out of some awkward hands, and still manage to resolve the combo from there. We do have our 1 copy of Isolde. You do not need to play more than 1 copy of this card. It sends for cost, meaning that once you've sent, you can't resolve it again. We don't have more than the 4 equip spells. You're not going to resolve this card more than once. We do then have our 2 copies of Sayuya. The reason this deck is much more difficult to play in Master Duel, not just the fact that you have a 5-minute timer, is the fact that you need 2 Sayuya to easily resolve this combo. There are still ways to do the combo with 1 Sayuya and Dagaris the Timeless, which does come later on in the extra deck, but resolving it with a 2 Sayuya, significantly easier to do. We then have the last 2 links in the extra deck, 2 cards that can be changed for anything. These cards aren't relevant in the deck, they're just here for pushing for damage. If you're getting hand trapped out going second, sometimes you can still end up on just a bunch of stuff on the board. You can then sit down into this, and then you can try and get game out of that. We then get to our Xyz monsters, so we have 1 copy of Levier, the Sea Dragon, starting us off. Essential card in the deck, ranking those level 3s does help you out quite a lot during the combo. 1 copy of Baguska, a relevant card, feel free to cut it. It's just here because it can stop certain decks from being able to out your board. 1 copy of Abyss Dweller, same reason as before, literally cut, paste that response. We have our 1 copy of Dagaris the Timeless. This card, very relevant. The Resurrection, yes, it skips your main phase, but hey, they're not getting a turn, so it doesn't matter. We have 1 Tornado Dragon, again, can come up in certain situations, it's a prosp card. 1 Primary Mathbeck Alimbertion, 100% essential in the deck, searches any level 4 off your 3 level 4s. And then, yeah, last card, 1 copy of Zeus. You've seen all these Xyz monsters, Zeus has got to be coming, isn't it? Okay, now we're just going to quickly go over the way the FTK resolves in this deck. So, you're doing your standard 6-Sam combo, you've created the loop, you've condensed down into your second Sayuja with your Primary Mathbeck Alimbertion after searching your Amazonas Archer. So you search the Archer off the Alimbertion, then you can make the Sayuja with the monsters that you have on your board. Use the Sayuja special summon effect to get your Amazonas Archer. You want to probably put it here. And then due to the fact that you have the infinite summons off the Kizans, because you can just gateway away the infinite counters that you've placed onto the Battle Shogun, you're essentially just going to be adding these back, special summon them both, Amazonas Archer tribute them, gateway add them back from grave, and do it again. That's fundamentally how the FTK works. If you want to see how to establish this combo, do check out the other 6 Samurai videos that I have on the channel, because of course we do go through the combo in those. But as always, I've been Ben from NolanTCG, and have a good afternoon, everybody.